But then Fantana said that the wedding venue looked like a barbecue. She messy for that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lily. This is Lily's Shelf, and today we are talking about, guys, if you could not tell by the face makeup, we're talking about young, famous, and African guys. Number one, we have to talk about the opulence, the obvious wealth. Like, this is why I love watching young, famous, and African. Also, before we get too far, because my glass is in the way. Yep, the makeup is eating. Okay, she is eating. So the hair is eating too, quite honestly. We start with Zari driving this old style car, and she's talking about how she is set to be married. So she's saying she's found the love of her life. She can't wait to get married. I'm like, okay, Zari, the boss lady, period. So she invites everybody. And we see Annie first. Of course, it wouldn't be Annie if she wasn't being shady. Of course, it wouldn't be Annie if she wasn't what, class? Saying something slick at the mouth. Exactly. She's saying that she's not very keen on Zari. She don't like Zari all that much, but she's gonna go to the wedding. That's strike number one for me. Because why are you going to the wedding if you don't like her? Okay, whatever. Nadia is next, and then we see Fantana. They're up in the back like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you got an invite. Did you get an invite? Yeah, girl, I'm surprised that you got an invite. Well, we just gonna pop up and see. The outfits we're giving, the outfits we're eating. But I feel like Zari is the type, like, you might think you in some beef with Zari, but if you're not at a certain tax bracket, Zari does not think that she has beef with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Nadia and Zari, since they've been in the group together for so long, they don't really have like serious beef. Now, I don't know much about social media, so I'm assuming they don't have like serious beef. And then like Fantana, I could see why she'd be like, why does Zari invite me to the wedding after everything that happened with the baby mama drama in season 2? But at the same time, I feel like Fantana is not on Zari's level, according to Zari. So it's like, of course she would invite you, because at the end of the day, you're part of the friend group now. So if she invited the whole friend group, if she invited Annie, she can invite Fantana. You know what I mean? Nadia asks what happened with Diamond. Fantana finally admits what we all knew, which is that Diamond has a girlfriend. Surprised? I didn't think so. And she said she had to stand up, and she didn't want to admit that she just didn't want to hear what everybody was saying, which was that Diamond was playing her like a fiddle. We know. Swanky is next, and then Naked and Kaylee. They're pretending they're happy and on the same page as far as like Naked and Kaylee go. Louis comes next. Again, the outfits we're eating. I love when everybody understands the assignment, but once again, I love when it's clear that they are wealthy by the outfits that they are wearing, period. The venue was spectacular, okay? Spectacular. But then Fantana said that the wedding venue looked like a barbecue. She messy for that. Because you know that the wedding venue looked good. You just being a hater at this point. You're calling Fantana Tweedle, or Fantana and Nadia Tweedledee and Tweedledum, hollering. Another person that's slick at the mouth is Naked. Okay, Quentin be having me rolling. Swanky said he's in therapy, which is good. I am always a proponent of therapy. The benefits, quite honestly, speak for themselves. If you need therapy, you should be in therapy, quite honestly. Like, if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, things like that, or like you find that you're always like flying off at the handle, maybe like some anger management or something, or you find yourself continuing to get into toxic relationships and the common factor is now you, therapy is for you. If you're going through a big life change, therapy is for you. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with trying to better yourself as a person. That's what a lot of us need to be doing, okay? Fantana said she didn't like how Louis moved when she was with Diamond. Craziness. because she said she wanted Lewis to take her away from Diamond. Like, girl, at this point, you just like the toxic mess. At this point, you just see a red flag and you keep going. Red flags are like Six Flags to Fantana. Nadia asks where Annie is because, of course, Annie is the last person to arrive. Everyone else is like, I don't know. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Do you know? Of course, she goes to greet the men. And I said in my notes, like, it's crazy how she always seems to be so close with the men and then a little bit more standoffish with the women. And like every time somebody has gotten on Annie, it's been a woman or Swanky who was more emotionally intelligent. The rest of the guys, we haven't seen them call out Annie for her behavior. Lewis was too busy getting jumped because he didn't know how to properly communicate his point in the last season. But like everybody else, Naked definitely isn't calling nobody out because he doesn't want to be called out himself. Diamond too busy running up and down these streets to hold anybody accountable, honestly. And if he held anybody accountable, he would have to hold himself accountable, and he's definitely not doing that. He's definitely not doing that. So it's like, of course she's closer with the men because they don't hold her accountable for her actions. And then Annie is the one who says, please, no drama, and then proceeds to start drama by asking how old Zari's husband is. Why does that matter? Why are you being messy? But you were at the wedding. It would be different if y'all were like at a party or something, one of y'all little get-togethers, and you were talking about how old her husband is. But you're at her wedding, near her family, mind you, because it's not like they were talking quiet. You're near her family and you're talking about how old her husband is because he's young. The disrespect. So then we are introduced to Zari's husband to be Shakib. So Shakib steps on the scene. He's from Uganda. He's letting us know what he's about. So he does minerals, sells cars, and has a boxing career. Which means Shakib should never be broke. Shakib should always have a steady flow of income coming from somewhere. That's 3 different careers. That's too many careers for you to be anything less than wealthy. Naked and Shakib, like we switched to Naked and Shakib in like, I guess like the groom's quarters, and they're talking and Naked is like, I'm the wrong one for marital advice. And that's very true because he's had 2 failed marriages. And I wouldn't hold that against him if we didn't see his relationship with Kaylee. Naked doesn't know how to communicate. Naked is conflict avoidant. Communication and conflict resolution are 2 main keys of a successful marriage. So no, Naked is not the one that you want to be talking to about your upcoming nuptials. Oh my goodness. Diamond get together. They're touchy, feely. Shakib is telling Naked that he feels a way about that, as he should as her husband to be. But at the same time, that should have been handled either when you proposed or when y'all were dating. It's a little late to be complaining about that now on your wedding day. Even though I do agree that it's obvious that Diamond has a soft spot for Zari. I don't care what anybody says. Diamond clearly has a soft spot for Zari. Like, he even calls their kids together his favorite kids on international television. And every time Diamond and Zari are in the same room, there is some undercurrent of something there. And the way Diamond like looks at her and talks to her, as opposed to when he's talking to Fantana, there is a difference. So I don't care what anybody says, Diamond definitely has a soft spot for Zari. Then we get to Naked kind of talking about how Zari seems a lot more softer and things like that with Shakib around, and I love that. I love that. But we're skipping ahead back to the wedding guests, like outside. So we're back to Annie. Annie decides that now, while they're waiting for Zari the bride to come out, this is when she's going to bring up the fact that she has a problem with Nadia. Girl, are you okay? Obviously not, because I mean she's going in on Nadia, right? But also before that, Annie is hopping on the Fantana train and saying that Zari's wedding venue looks exactly like Annie's wedding video and that Zari is a fan. And I'm like, those were two different venues, babe. And I should know because I just binged season 2 in preparation for season 3, like my season 3 watch. So like, I remember those were 2 different menus. That's so messy and diabolical. It is unprovoked. You just want to be diabolical unprovoked. Luis walks in with this obviously older woman who turns out to be the officiant or the MC. She's something for the wedding. Oh, like looking older than Zari, body T, beautiful woman, but Luis, you couldn't find nobody else. You couldn't find nobody else to bring to this wedding? Oh, all right. Ceremony was beautiful, quite honestly, start to finish. Besides the messy comments, the ceremony was beautiful. Zari's dress, oh my goodness. Once again, I love when the wealthy buy things to show that they are wealthy. I'm not here for the billionaires who can't dress. Like, why are you wearing a t-shirt and you're worth billions of dollars? You can't hire a stylist? That's why I love watching this show, because every outfit, even when they're dressed down, that stuff is put on. Like, bad outfit days where they have some iffy choices, but like they're very creative with the style. Like, they can obviously dress. Before Zari walks in, keep in mind that Zari's other sons, like the older sons, are sitting right in front of Annie, Nadia, Fantana, I think in like Swanky. For sure, Annie, Nadia, and Fantana. Like, they're sitting right in front of them. So while they're waiting for Zari to walk in, Annie is saying how she can't tell the difference because Shakib has walked in. She can't tell the difference between the son and the husband. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Annie kind of ate with that line. Now, if it were me, we'd have to fight. Because how dare you say something like that with my son sitting right in front of you? But since it's not me, Annie ate. Like, that line was diabolical, but it was kind of true. Like, looking at Shakib and then looking at the older son who had told them earlier, like, you know, we're getting ready to sit everybody down. They do kind of look a little similar. Like, Shakib obviously looks younger than he is. Like, he has very youthful looks. I've heard some reviewers say that Shakib makes Zari look old. I don't think so, but I do feel like, well, I guess he kind of does, because I do feel like when Zari is not standing next to Shakib, she also has a youthful appearance, but when she stands next to Shakib, it's almost like she looks more her age, if that makes sense. We get to the vows. They both mention respect in their vows. I love that. And they both look so happy and in love. Like, when they're looking at each other, they just look so in love. While all these festivities are going on, Annie is asking Nadia basically why she chose Swanky when Annie and Swanky were having their beef last season. Nadia was like, Swanky was my friend first. Was she wrong? I didn't think so. She wasn't. At the end of the day, Nadia met Annie through Swanky. So when Annie and Swanky were having beef, obviously Nadia is gonna choose Swanky. What? So we skip to the reception. Zari put Fantana at the end of the table, so like everybody else in the group is sitting over here, and then like Fantana's all the way at the end over here. She also had a placemat for Diamond. Keep that in mind, okay? That's a magical tool that we're gonna pull out later, so keep that info in the back of your mind. She did have a placemat for Diamond that was next to Fantana at the end of the table, so obviously she had invited him, right? And then we're introduced to another +1 of Swankies, Kefilowe. I'm gonna call her Kefi for short because I may or may not butcher her name. I'm so sorry. But they give Kefi an entrance, and honestly, to me, the entrance was disrespectful because she walks down. So you have the wedding aisle. You have on each side of the wedding, like the bride and groom's table, you have tables for the rest of the guests. So instead of walking around, and like even when you walk in, you can see that the guests are sitting on either side of the bride and groom. So like instead of walking around Keffy walks down the aisle and then walks around to sit next to Swanky. And I feel like that was so disrespectful. Like, why would you do that? Because if it were my wedding, we're throwing hands immediately. I'm calling security and I'm telling them to drag you out of there or escort you, whether you want to go or not. I'm telling them that you need to leave. Okay? You need to leave. Like, it's my wedding. It's my day. How dare you walk down the center of the aisle and take focus away from me on my wedding day? Y'all can say what you want to say, but a wedding day is supposed to be special for the bride and the groom. I understand that she was trying to find her seat, but the way that it was set up, I don't know if it was just the camera angles or what, you could have walked around. Like, okay, you gotta walk a little bit in the center, and that's fine, but you can course correct once you see that the tables are on either side. You didn't have to walk all the way down until you were almost at the bride and groom's table and then walk around the outside tables to sit next to Swanky. I just hope that he would have like let Zari know when he was RSVPing that he is gonna bring a +1. I would have an issue with that. Like if he just brought her and nobody knew. Outfit was on point though. I did say that Swanky was low down for inviting +1s all the time to events that aren't his. Because it is revealed that he didn't tell Zari that he was gonna bring a +1. So in that case, Swanky, you are low down. And then Annie is like, let me get up and give a speech. Nadia's face was my face. Because Annie, this whole wedding you have spent talking about Zari like nobody's business. Now you want to get up and give a speech. And her speech, guys, her speech was awful. Oh my God, her speech was awful. I thought she was going to stand up there and give like a courtesy, like, you know, thank you for inviting me. I know we've had our past differences, but I really appreciate being able to share in this special moment with you. You know, something generic and then sit down. No, Annie got up and was like, I feel a way about being invited. Oh Lord, and all these other things, and how like her and Zari aren't on the best of terms right now and all this other stuff. And I'm like, girl, like she basically used the speech to air out her grievances, and then I think on the end tacked on like a, but I'm happy for you though. The way Zari was looking was the way I was looking. Girl, sit down. Sit down. So we're done with the wedding. We now go to, I think it's like a barbershop or something, and we're seeing Diamond and Naked, because Diamond is complaining that Zari did not invite him to the wedding because Naked had asked him where he was at. But before Naked had gotten there, Diamond was like, there was a way to invite me to the wedding and she did not do that. So I think that Zari said, hey, she sent him an invitation just like everybody else in the mail. RSVP, yes or no? And he said no, because he was probably like, you're not going to talk to me about getting married? Or some other foolishness. Because one thing about Diamond, he is on foolish time every time. So I feel like Diamond lied when he said he wasn't invited. I think that he wanted Zari to come and like have like a heart-to-heart moment with him and then invite him to the wedding, and she did not do that. So he felt away, he didn't go. So Naked was saying what I was thinking, which was Diamond sounded real jealous. And it does give that. Like, Diamond gives, just because I don't want you right now doesn't mean I want you with somebody else. Like, he wants Zari to be, it seems like he wants Zari to be available to him whenever he wants to pop up. Because remember, last season, he was popping up at the house all the time. Well, not all the time, but like, he would pop up at the house randomly to go see the kids. If she's married, he can't do that. Now there are going to be clear boundaries. And I feel like he does not like that. Because in his confessional, Diamond is like, why would I be jealous? If I wanted her, I could have her like that. The way, if I was Zari and because I don't know when they watch this back or if they watch it back at all. But if I were Zari and I heard that, don't talk to me ever again. Like, we can set it up with the courts and we can have like supervised visitation, or like you can come pick up the kids, you know, one weekend that you're in town, and then, you know, you just bring them back. But other than that, if it's not about the kids, don't talk to me. Because that's so disrespectful. And Diamond is the main one always saying that he's trying to respect Zari because she is the mother of his kids. Diamond wouldn't know respect if it bit him. Respect is running after Diamond, but Diamond is faster. So then we cut to Fantana and Annie. They have met up for lunch. Annie is saying that she wants to get to know Fantana one-on-one. We think it's about to be a productive conversation, but no. Annie just uses this time instead to vent about Swanky and this voice note and all this other stuff, and how if Swanky goes out, he's gonna get jumped. If Swanky goes outside, he's gonna get jumped. And she should know Fantana and Swanky are close. Again, Fantana and Swanky are close. Naked may have introduced Fantana to the group, but every time we saw Fantana hanging out, Swanky was always there. Like, it was always like Fantana, Swanky, and somebody else. So they're obviously close. So obviously everything that Annie is saying about Swanky, Fantana is gonna let him know. Obviously. But also, Annie, I thought you said you wanted to get to know Fantana. You're doing a lot of talking for somebody who wanted to get to know the other person. Like, I feel like Fantana could have been replaced with a cardboard cutout and the conversation wouldn't have changed. So we pop over to Nadia and Keffy. Nadia gives her the lowdown, and we like switch between Nadia and Keffy talking and Annie and Fantana talking. Like, they're basically just catching each other up on the drama in Nadia's case, and then in Annie's case, she's bad-mouthing Swanky. So I will say I did feel some empathy because Annie said that her kids were getting bullied because of some stuff that happened. I do feel for that because I feel like the kids should never be involved. Leave the children alone. So the last little like wrap up to this episode, Keffy throws this little like, I think it's like high tea or high tea adjacent event. I don't really know what the event was, quite honestly. Do I have it in my notes? No, I just have, she throws an event. So she throws some kind of event. Everybody's looking nice, okay? She just wants to get to know everybody. Annie admitted that she Googled Kefilwe before she arrived. And she saw, because I think Swanky and Keffy both won like best dressed of the year. And so Annie was like, I had to bring my A game when I'm coming. And I'm like, period. Keffy says Annie is a wonderful soul. And that's when I said, no. No, no, you're getting stuck in the quicksand. Pull yourself back. Keffy, pull yourself back. Annie is not a gentle soul. No, no. Out of everybody's outfit, I liked Nadia's dress the best. I did. Once again, Nadia is the only one that's not fake. And also, I did holler a little bit when Nadia was like, this was actually your wedding venue, Annie. Do you recognize it now? I'm weak. Honestly, Nadia has some of the best like lines and comebacks and shade and everything else. Like, I love when Nadia pops off a little bit, when Nadia gets a little slick at the mouth, because Annie didn't say nothing. Because what could she say? I don't remember which one was actually my wedding venue. Ooh, well, not her wedding venue, but like her vow renewal venue. Ooh. Annie said, you know, if that's love, talking about Zari and Shakib, then she loves that for them. But I'm like, girl, I know you ain't talking with the husband like Baba, like a husband like Two-Face. With a husband like Innocent, his, what is that, his stage name being Innocent is wild. Nadia said everything that comes out of Annie's mouth is negative. Clock it. Annie thinks she's so much better than everyone. Quite honestly, I love the highbrow shade. I do. I do. But Nadia was gagging her so bad. And everything she said, Nadia was just eating her up. Nadia was eating her up and there was no food on the table. I said, period. Annie can't take the heat, so she gets out of the kitchen. Like, she stands up, she leaves. And then Keffy is like, my event is ruined, basically, because she was saying how like Nadia warned her about everybody but herself, and then that's the end of the episode. I didn't really like that comment because I'm like, nothing that Nadia said was untrue, and Nadia only got started because Annie got started. So if you're gonna feel a way about Nadia, you have to feel a way about Annie, because Annie started it. Nadia just finished it. But that was episode 1. Next time we're talking about episode 2. Drop down in the comments if you have watched this or if you plan to watch it. Again, if you have not seen this show, it is on Netflix. It's so good. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.
This nugget of encouragement, things will be alright.